What's up, everybody? Mr. Inyard here. This is your Daily Math Monday, Week 25 grading process. Check how you did. All right, everybody. Here we are at Week 25 Monday. And number one, median, keyword there. So we have several numbers, which are our data. That can be results of any survey question we ask a group of people or information we observe. So for median, step one is to order them from least to greatest. I did that down here, and these lines are to just mark that I've used the number and then make sure that I use them all. And then step two, median means middle. So I circled the middle number by just kind of crossing out the outsides one at a time, and that left me 32 in the middle. And that's obviously very similar to what we see on number two. I put them in order from least to greatest. Then I went to the middle, and my median would be 170. For number three, the histogram, I'll go to that in just a second, but I want to take with me less than 136. So if it's less than 136, that means I need to, everyone that is 35 inches or less would be in that category because they have to be less than 136 inches tall. So I'm looking for anything that fits that category. So here is the histogram, and you can see that this is 131 to 135 inches, or centimeters, not inches. And this is 136 to 140. So these ones will not work, okay? None of these girls are less than 136. So I'm only looking at these girls, and therefore I simply count. This one has 8, this one has 4, this one has 3, and I just add those up, and I get 15 girls. So the answer to number 3 was 15 girls are less than 136 centimeters. And there you see the answer to number 3. Okay, so for number 4, we are dealing with mean and MAD, mean absolute deviation. You may want to write that down, mean absolute deviation. So for the mean, if you recall, it means you're going to add up the numbers in your data. Then you're going to divide by how many there are because you're looking for the numeric center where you make one lump sum and then you put it into 4 equal groups to spread out amongst your data and figure out what that would be. So when you add 9, 14, 15, and 18, I got 56. And then 56 divided by 4, I got 14. So 14 would be my mean. Now, the MAD, mean absolute deviation, would be you need to make a new list. And the new list is going to be how far is each of my original data points, which are up here, how far are each of these from the mean? So where did my 5 come from? From the 14 and the 9, the difference between them is 5. Where's the 0 from? The difference between 14 and 14. Where's the 1 from? The difference between 14 and 15. Where's the 4 from? The difference between 18 and 14. So when I add those together, I don't get 10. Yes, I do. I get 10. 6 and 4. And then I divide that by 4 because I'm finding the mean of my new list. I add them up and divide by how many there are. And I get 2.5 or 2.5. So my mean absolute deviation, or MAD, is 2.5. Okay, for range and mode, I highlighted them because they're the most important deals. Range and mode, while looking at this, range is, remember, a distance, right? A distance of beginning to end. How far is it from here to there? And so that would be the smallest number and the biggest number subtracted to find that gap. And so 62 is my max, or maximum, greatest number. 16 was my minimum, or smallest number. And when you subtract, you get 46 as your range. Now, mode, remember apple pie a la mode. Don't know if I spelled that right, but my favorite dessert, the most popular dessert in my restaurant. So the one that's listed or repeated the most amount of times. So my apple pie a la mode is 47, because it's the only one repeated more than once. So for numbers 6 and 7, finding the missing values in ratio tables, remember to be a ratio table that you have to move the same amount per number by the same factor. So there's multiplication or division involved. This is not an addition or subtraction situation. So how do I get from 2 to 6? That's times 3. And therefore, each of these numbers times 3 gives me this number, which in turn means if I have this number, the second number, the answer to the multiplication, I can use my rules of fact families to do the opposite of the rule. So what's the opposite of times 3? Divided by 3. So 18 divided by 3 would make me go backwards to get my 6 here. So 12 and 6 were my missing numbers. Likewise, in this table, times 5 was my rule going from left to right, which would mean going from right to left or working backwards would be to do the opposite of times 5, which is divided by 5. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. And of course, I'm going left to right here. 5 times 5 is 25. Remember, the distributive property simply says that you can distribute what's outside the parentheses to each item in the parentheses or to each term in the parentheses. So this 3 times can go to the 4, 3 times 4, and can go to the 8 at 3 times 8, and then you just add those together because you still have that addition sign in there. So some of you may have just done 4 plus 8 because PEMDAS, or order of operations, says do this first, which is 12, and 12 times 3 is 36. But the distributive property, if you're going to use that to solve, means you would write this problem. So ask yourself, where did I get 12 plus 24? The 12 is from the 3 distributing to the 4 times 4, 3 times 4. And the 24 is from the 3 times distributing to the 8, 3 times 8. And then I add those together, and 12 plus 24 is 36. Look, as long as you get 36, I don't really care how you do it. Okay, so this is a fun question because you have to have some other knowledge, as in how many minutes are in an hour. But if I had 1 hour for 3 haircuts, how long would it take to make 8 haircuts? So I can't get from 3 to 8, right? If I write a ratio, 1 hour is to 3 haircuts. So 1 hour is 3 haircuts, 1 hour, 2, 3 haircuts. I can't get from 3 to 8. Remember, we multiply to find equivalent ratios. 3 times what equals 8? I don't know. But what I can do is I can rewrite this ratio. Instead of using hours at 1, I can change my hours to minutes. So if I do that, I have 60 minutes is 3 haircuts. Isn't that the same as this? Just a different form? Yup. So 60 minutes for 3 haircuts. What I want to do is go backwards to figure out how long does it take for 1 haircut. Well, 3 haircuts was 60 minutes. So if I divide by 3, I will get 20 minutes per haircut. Now that I've got my rate of minutes per haircut, I can do times 8, and then 20 minutes times 8, which is going to be 160 minutes. And then I just now convert this back over to this one. How many hours is 160 minutes? Well, 60 minutes per hour, so 2 would be 120 plus 40. So that's 2 hours, 40 minutes. So a little under 3 hours, right? And that would be a realistic answer to this question. Cool. Remember, the alligator always eats the greater amount. -7 is less than +7. All positives are greater than all negatives. All right, that was it. All right, y'all. That's morning work, week 25, Monday. I'll see you tomorrow for Tuesday. Do lesson 25 or something, and wherever you are in Eureka Math, and work on the problem of the day. But other than that, read. Do whatever your other teachers are asking, but find some time to be productive. All right, let's better ourselves. Adios.